This is Don't Panic, episode number 180, recorded October 23rd, 2017. The Revenge of the Flip Phone. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets that aren't new. I'm Sean Jennings, and I'm joined by two guys, Dan Miller and Colby Rabideau. And we are here to talk tech this week. If you'd like to vote for Dan, text Dan to 42424. If you'd like to vote for Colby, text Colby to 42424. Standard messaging rates may apply.
I'm going to do it.
But you'll have to tune into the results show on Wednesday to find out who is your sole Don't Panic survivor.
42424?
42424. Text Dan. Code word Dan. We're going to make so much money on this.
Sean, how much does that short number cost? Is this the sort of thing where you send a text to that and like $5 gets taken out of your cell phone bill and put in the Don't Panic, like straight to the Don't Panic coffers?
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Yeah, Dan, you just donated $10 to the Buy Sean Some Dinner fund.
But it says I don't understand.
Yes, exactly. Don't understand how much money I sent to your billing account. Good job.
I'm sorry, I can't even comprehend how much money I just got out of your cell phone plan. How's it going, everyone?
It's going good. I am going to look up how much one of those 5-digit numbers costs.
I'm going to guess a lot of money. You know how much a Snapchat filter costs?
No, how much does it cost?
A lot. People get these, geo-fenced Snapchat filters for their wedding, and they're very specific. Like, it's only supposed to work at the ballroom that your wedding is being held at or whatever. Thousands and thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And just for one day.
That's for the Snapchat filter?
Yeah.
I assumed it was like $100 or something. Oh. Thousands of dollars.
I haven't looked into this myself, but that's what I was told.
That's like super dumb.
Doesn't seem wise.
No, not at all. Not at all. But anyhow.
Have you ever been to a wedding with a Snapchat filter?
No. But I've seen weddings with Snapchat filters on Snapchat.
I'm pretty sure one of my friends had a Snapchat filter at their wedding. And I can't imagine. Maybe it wasn't a filter. Maybe it was like the filters are the things. Now I'm not a youth anymore, so I don't really understand.
This was custom
Snapchat.
graphics. This was custom graphics.
Yeah.
I don't know if that matters.
Maybe. I feel like they had one though, and I can't imagine they spent thousands of dollars on it. Maybe they did. But...
We got to start our own consultancy here. We'll create your own. You got an event, you got a wedding, an anniversary, a funeral, whatever. We'll create your own Snapchat filter, no problem. There's money to be made. This is a solid.
We could
point.
be like the gold top tier Snapchat filters.
Oh yeah, no, we're doing that.
Your
cheap
budget Snapchat filters.
No,
like
get out of town.
Only the luxe kind.
That's right. Our sparkle.
Exactly.
Very fancy. Now, Colby, is it true? Word on the street is that you now have a talking tube lady in your own home. Is that true?
Yeah.
Alexa, turn off all the lights.
Okay.
Wow. For those
Turn
listening
off
on
some of the
audio,
lights.
it definitely worked.
There's a hardwired light that is not. Yeah. So they're doing the Sonos thing now, and I got an email from Sonos like, hey, you can have $25 off an Echo Dot, which is half the price. Nice. So I got an Echo Dot for $25. Mostly it's terrible.
Oh.
It does not work well.
Oh,
I mean, it doesn't do anything. Like, it turns off the lights okay. I do like, so the thing I do like, I use it for timers for cooking. And you can set more than one timers, which you can't do with Siri, which I dislike about Siri. However, I ask it to like play music, and it almost 50% of the time plays the wrong thing.
But where's it pulling from?
I don't know.
Oh, it's just playing.
I mean, Amazon Music, I guess, because
I find Amazon Music is terrible about Music Match. They never get it right.
Yeah.
And I was curious if Spotify's any better. Oh, that's right. They don't have Spotify. No, they do.
Right. So Spotify works. You can Spotify from the Echo, but you can't play Spotify on Sonos things from the Echo. You can play Spotify on Sonos things, just not via the Echo. So it's sort of useless for me, actually. But I don't know. It's been interesting so far. I do like it for the lights. That was the thing I sort of wanted it for. Because I don't have to turn off the lights with my phone.
Yeah, it's much faster, more convenient. I find to just do it by voice.
Do you have anything else that you use it for?
Yeah, mostly music. The timers are awesome. Although I am so annoyed because I actually have two. I have the Echo Tube, and then I have one of the little dots. And if you do a timer on one, it does not sync the timer to the other, which is bizarre to me. That they could not make that work. That is so... They'll sync music. They'll play multi-room music, but they will not sync timers. So stupid. But no, really the only other thing is that I have my Harmony smart remote for my television setup. And that's pretty cool because I can be like, turn on Netflix. And then it'll turn on and go into my Roku and launch the Netflix app, which is... It's more of a novelty. Right. It's not like the most practical thing, but I do use it occasionally.
Righto. It's interesting so far. I'm interested to see. I think if they get the Spotify stuff working and it works well, I would consider getting like maybe the little Sonos that has it built in and putting it in the bathroom.
Yeah, so full lady in the tube.
Yeah, full lady in the tube. See, I can't. I don't know what to do because I can't consume podcasts from it without giving up Overcast, and that seems like a thing I don't want to do.
Yeah, I wish there was some way they could open that up and let them build more robust apps.
Right.
I thought that Alexa had a app store, sort of.
Well, it's skills, but as far as I understand it, and I'm not an API expert, but I just don't think it has...
You're talking to two people who are.
Well, good, then you guys can solve the problem. As far as I've never seen an Alexa skill that has the amount of control that Overcast would require.
Now, what if you had a Overcast playlist what are those things called? Queue?
Yeah, playlist queue.
Playlist, yeah. What if you had one of those that was specifically for your what you want to have playing on Alexa, and could you just say play Overcast, and you would have some code that would go out to some Overcast API that presumably exists somewhere and starts playing, streaming audio from the MP3 files listed?
Well, TuneIn Radio has an integration. You can do that now, actually. I think Don't Panic is on TuneIn Radio. I think I submitted it, so I never got it working, but hypothetically you should be able to say play Don't Panic and it'll pull it off of TuneIn Radio.
Interesting.
And it just pulls an episode. I think the issue comes in with like how Overcast does like the syncing of where you left off, and that I don't know if it can do all that. I'm sure they could just play a playlist from somewhere.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But I also don't know what I'm talking about. I would love it. That would be like a go-to feature, though. I find... See, you're smarter, Colby, because you got the Sonos. The audio quality that comes out of the tube is not good enough for spoken word. I'd much rather just wear my AirPods.
The dot audio quality is, obviously not good. Not super good.
I thought the dot was designed to be hooked up to a speaker.
It is, yeah.
That's why it's not very good.
Right. So it's nice with the Sonos, it doesn't have to be next to the Sonos. Because it does it over the Wi-Fi or whatever via whatever black magic like Sonos has to like let you do stuff with it. It does seem to work pretty well. It's interesting. You say like play some music in whatever your Sonos name or whatever your room name is in Sonos is. That's cool.
Now, did you guys see the Cortana tube?
No.
No, they got the Harman Kardon, the fancy speaker people. They got the Invoke, which is it's got the Microsoft Cortana smart lady in the tube, and it's a different tube, but it does the smart stuff.
It's still a tube though? It
is tube shaped. It's got a little sexier curve to it.
Oh yeah.
But it's got all kinds of speakers and woofers and stuff in there, and then it does the music. But it's got all Office integration too, so you can be like, oh, create. I don't know if you can actually do this. Create a new row in my spreadsheet, and I don't think you can do that. But it's got Skype built in, so that's pretty neat.
Ooh.
If you're a big Skyper.
So we could do the show from the tube.
You could. That in theory. Recommended, probably not. but apparently it was reviewed well. So it's just expensive. It's $200. But
pricey.
Anyhow.
Pricey.
That's where they get you.
Yeah. So I think my biggest gripe with the Dot is, I don't think this is specific to the Dot, but the iOS app is so bad.
Oh,
it's like
garbage.
It's like the first generation like hybrid web app, native app bad.
Yep.
It's like they haven't changed it since then. It's really unfortunate. And it's got the like weird like whatever weird click situation where like you're trying to scroll but you accidentally click into the thing and then you have to go back. And then it puts you back at the top of the list instead of where you left off. Does it give you a
spinner at each time you change a page?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. Luckily, I didn't have to use it for very long because I only had to set up like the 2 integration things I wanted. But
what 2 integrations do you have? Your bulbs?
I got the bulbs and the bulbs and the Sonos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you?
And go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't mean to cut you off. Have you gone into your history and looked at all the things Alexa didn't understand you saying and all the recordings of you talking? Oh, you go right in the.
Oh yes.
I was gonna play some of mine because I don't know if I got to turn up the volume.
Play some of them.
Yeah. So this is literally you can. So I asked this the other day. See if I can get this to. Oh, why won't it play? Oh, there it is. It was doing it. Son of a... I can't... I don't know if you could hear that. This app is terrible. But it does. It has the recordings of every time you've asked it to do something. I don't know if you can hear that. Anyhow, you can go in and then even the ones it doesn't understand, or sometimes it'll accidentally, when it accidentally picks you up, it records that too. So you can have some fun going through your app history. Yeah. You can also delete them all if you'd like. So it's not all that bad.
Okay.
But anyhow, well, that's cool. Well, you'll have to keep us in the loop as
so,
you find new fun things. Oh my God, Colby, no joke. We have to do an Alexa call.
The messages thing.
Yes. Yes.
I went into settings and I signed into the app and it tried to get me to set that up and I was like, nope.
Oh yeah, I'm so calling you like all the time.
Wait, so we're not getting a messages call between Colby and Sean?
Oh, right now?
No, not right now.
It's not even set up.
Challenge next week. Colby and Sean have a messages call.
All right.
Oh,
sure. I want to hear the knock on air.
We'll do it. We'll definitely do it.
Okay.
If Colby will be my Alexa friend.
Yeah, I guess I'll do it. If I have somebody to talk to, maybe.
Yeah.
Can we do the thing the drop-in thing where we just pop into each other's apartments unannounced?
I think that's just on the video though. I don't know. I don't think it's on. I think you have to actually ring them.
Can you imagine? It's like you're walking around minding your own business and you're like, hey, Sean,
over
guess
here.
what?
Guess what? I'm eating a sandwich. It's delicious. Can't have any. It's my sandwich.
Just thought you should know.
Stop trying to take my sandwich.
I was going to tell you about it too. You also can't see it.
Oh my God, that's so. I'm always listening.
The sandwich.
It's me, Alexa. I'm listening to everything you're saying. Would you like to buy some paper towels? This is why I'm not the voice of any smart assistants. Yeah, because that's terrifying.
They imagine if they made Alexa spooky for Halloween season.
Oh, that would be cool with the rattling chains and the ooh.
Yep, I would like that.
That would be sweet. I think they should sell celebrity voices like they do. If you ever use Waze, sometimes they have the celebrity voices. That would be pretty cool.
That would be amazing.
I would like. Who would be?
Oh, I would get an Alexa just for that.
Who would
I
be
wouldn't- I
your
wouldn't even use it for
go-to?
anything.
Who would be your celebrity like you'd love to have?
I mean, obviously Morgan Freeman.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
That's a good one. I'm thinking
Any British actor?
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick
Ooh.
Stewart. The guy who plays Bond right now.
Daniel Craig, yeah.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Judi Dench. Speaking of.
Oh yeah.
What about gosh, there are a lot of good options.
Yeah, there are a lot of good options.
Betty White.
Betty. Oh, that would be great.
Yes.
That would be fun.
I would enjoy an edgier Alexa that, like, you know, when I said bad things to her, she
Viggo Mortensen
dish it out.
just growls at you.
Mhm.
There's-
like a
Bane.
just completely incomprehensible.
It's going to be bright and sunny today, Colby.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. I can't do a Bane impression. That was terrible.
Have to talk like this, Sean. Colby, your first appointment is at 10 a.m.
Pretty good. You're kind of selling me.
Oh man.
Sean is calling.
Hang on.
Oh, the possibilities are endless.
Well, good. Well, we'll keep working on that, but I think it's time to move on from banter to the news. While we do that, you guys can look. We got a lot of stories here in the rundown, a lot of good ones, but thanks to the people watching us live on Facebook right now, facebook.com/Don't Panic Show, Monday nights, about 10:15 p.m. In the East Coast. We are live there. You can join us, comment. We're watching the comments. You can also call in at 508-644-TECH. That's 508-644-8324, and join us live on the show. Guys, what's our first story?
Can we talk about the ramen fork?
We
Yeah.
talk? You
You
bet.
gotta start there.
You bet we can. And by the way, have you guys read Eater before?
What is
No.
that?
Eater, it's a blog.
I think I've
A
heard
website?
of this.
Yeah, it's on the World Wide Web. AOL keyword Eater.
The
It's
information superhighway.
yeah, totally. And it's a Vox site. It's in their staple of sites, but it's their kind of food blog. Very good. The writing's excellent.
I have read it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like a mini pick right there, Eater.com. But this story comes from Eater. Are you guys familiar with the fine folks at the Nissan Corporation?
No.
No,
But
not
what,
the car
what would
people.
I know them from?
Not the car people. No, that's Nissan. No, Nissan. They make those little instant cup of noodles.
Oh,
Cup noodle,
I
as
see.
they're known. The ramen people. Apparently, I did
I
not know
see.
this. There is a national crisis going on of people slurping their noodles. Now, Nissan would have you believe that slurping the noodles actually increases the flavor and the enjoyment of the
I've
noodle.
heard this about many things.
Slurping
It's
it makes
supposedly
it
true
taste
about
better.
coffee.
Gazpacho.
Yep. So
Jell-O?
I don't know. Maybe I've been eating my ramen wrong the whole time.
It's certainly more
Could
fun.
be.
Yeah, and it's certainly not uncommon, even in the United States, to get a good slurper, near your table.
Totally, but it's distracting. Nissan has a solution for your problem. They are releasing a limited edition smart fork that detects the sounds of noodles slurping and triggers a nearby smartphone to play a recording to mask the food noises. I'll put up here on the screen for the folks watching the video version their little demo video, and it really shows it's apparently a real problem. And so the way it works is it's got a super directional microphone that points itself at the noodles you're eating. And if it hears slurping, it triggers your smartphone to play a reactive noise that kind of still sounds like slurping, but like a more fun musical slurping. that I guess
like an explosion or a whoosh, like a
yeah,
like a spell is being cast.
It's got a funky sound to it, but I guess it's less distracting than slurping. Now, Nissan's only making 5,000 of them, but so you got to get your order in now for the low price of $130.
You know, honestly, that's less money than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean it's you can get an Echo, right? You can get a smart tube, or you can get a smart fork.
So I think it cannot be understated to the listeners how not much better this sound is compared to regular slurping. Like, it is very disruptive and loud. And okay, here I have a question before I come to my solution.
Okay.
My question: where is it emitting the sound from? Just your phone? So you have to have your phone out on the table.
Yes.
So
Sound
that
turned
it's not
up.
muffled in your pocket. Sound all the way up, blasted, I imagine. And what, is everyone going to have their phones out and it's just a chorus of these whooshing sounds? No. Here's a solution.
Yeah.
And if you're going to a fancy ramen place, this isn't going to work. But guess what? If you're going to a fancy ramen place, you're not going to be able to bring your fucking smart fork in there either.
Now, Dan,
Headphones.
before you give your solution,
Headphones. Too late. Headphones. You could be listening to this podcast and eating ramen right now, oblivious to the fact that your neighbor is slurping.
Oh, but-
What if you need to talk to the people though?
yeah, that's a little rude.
You need like headphones that like are it's like augmented earality, right? Like you're listening
Oh,
through
like
and it's,
noise
like,
canceling.
Orality. Augmented
Exactly.
orality.
Orality. Yeah, that's
We've
good.
coined the new term.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wow.
Noise canceling, but only for slurping.
Right. It
Yes.
cancels specific noises.
Actually, yes, you're right. That would also be a better solution. Way more expensive than what I'm proposing, but still a better solution. And probably, I would guess, less expensive. Here's what you do. Invert the model. Take the microphone, put it next to the bowl. Stick the thing in your ears, and then when the microphone hears slurping, it disguises the sound.
That's a good idea.
Mm.
Figure out how far away it is. It could be fancy and cool and do all the smart stuff, and it would be so much better.
What if now this is crazy. What if the fork didn't need to connect to your phone and instead it just played a sound out of the fork?
Constantly?
No, like when you were slurping, the fork just played a sound. Like, why doesn't the fork? It's huge.
I'm sorry.
Did you see how big it is?
All I can
Yeah,
imagine.
you gotta fit a Wi-Fi chip in there and all this shit, man.
Yeah, so take the Wi-Fi chip out and put it in a fucking speaker.
No, Colby, you give me a good idea though, because every time you go to slurp your ramen noodles, a very bright red light starts flashing and an alarm sound goes off, letting everyone know you're slurping. Right? So you go to slurp, and woo, 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 woo. No one will notice you're slurping anymore.
It's
Prepare
true.
to be slurped.
There you go at Bane's Ramen Shop.
All right, you can get the voices. You get the celebrity voices.
Oh, it sounds like you're slurping.
Oh, pardon me, everyone. My user is about to start slurping.
Is that your Dame Judi Dench impression?
No, I specifically did not leave that one. I left that one ambiguous. It's just generic,
British person to be named
kind of
later.
tawdry British person.
I see.
That was
Definitely
nice.
not Dench.
This is the one of the wackiest things I've ever seen. If you haven't, like everyone should go watch the video. It's pretty.
That would be a
pretty
really
amazing.
good Don't Panic compilation episode, because I know you love those so much, Sean. Our wackiest stories.
I still think the wackiest. We don't do many wacky stories. That's the thing.
Yeah.
By far, the wackiest and best we ever did, and I stand by this, is the Japanese Smart Toilet Consortium, where they standardized the icons, and we just went on like a 20-minute riff on smart toilets.
Yep, I
That was
maintain.
awesome.
Still pretty stupid.
Yeah, this is a close second though. I don't know. Honestly, I think if you're really looking for a low-budget, easy solution to slurping, just suck it up and be chill. Like I don't know what the is it really that bad? Seriously?
No, I don't think so. And I think that no. Yeah. I also
If everyone's doing it, it's totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. here's the thing. I find ramen slurping totally acceptable because in some ways it's the easiest way to eat it. Like it's kind of tough to have a bowl of ramen and not slurp.
Especially if you're using chopsticks. Right.
Yes. Right. What are you supposed to do? Just like chop it off with your teeth and get one little section at a time? No.
Right.
The coffee slurpers, those people piss me off because it feels so pretentious. I think, like the people who waft the wines in the glass, and it's noisy. And, a coffee shop is in some ways a place for relaxation or at least like contemplation. So I'm fine. I'm fine with ramen slurpers.
All this story has really done is made me want, because I don't really slurp.
Mm-hmm.
And this story really makes me want to do it because I'm like, maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I'm not
Sean,
enjoying
have you had
it.
fancy ramen before?
I've never had fancy ramen, Dan.
All right.
And if we get fancy ramen, I promise I will slurp.
Oh my God. When are you coming to New York? Let's have a fancy ramen Don't Panic outing. Challenge.
Slurpathon.
Have fancy ramen. and slurp
2017.
it.
Be there. I'm sold. I'll do it.
You could live stream it.
Absolutely.
This is what we'll do. We'll do our first Don't Panic episode where none of us are sitting in a chair. We all just have our phones.
Yes.
And we put it down, and instead of it disguising the noise, we're just broadcasting it to the world.
And
all of our slurping.
we'll get like a decibel meter and see how loud we can get the slurp.
Yes. Oh my
Slurp
God.
Challenge.
If you bought me a decibel meter, I would totally do that.
What
else could I measure?
What do you call a decibel meter? Does that have
Oh,
a name?
I
A
can measure how loud
dec-
the train,
decibel.
the highway is in my apartment.
We could do so much.
I could measure how loud I was being when my downstairs neighbor yells at me for being too loud.
That's interesting.
The quantitative life. I could be like, no,
Measure it all.
see here, see this graph? I was no more loud than I usually am.
I like to imagine Dan just going up to his coworkers. See, you're being loud. Keep it down. We're working.
That's a good idea. Yes.
Be that
Yeah,
guy.
Colby knows. Plot the noise over the week in the office. You can Colby could even leave it there, when you're not there to collect data. Maybe security, yells at you, gets you arrested. But I think that's a chance worth taking. People leave, untethered Raspberry Pis lying around office spaces all the time.
Totally normal. I feel like then I could quantitatively prove that I have one of the worst desks in the HubSpot office right now.
Ooh. See, we have some good challenges here.
Well, here you go, Dan.
Quantify something in your life.
I'll hook you up. Here we go. It is the noise monitor, the Duo Smart Noise Monitor. And it's smart and it connects. It's got 3G in it, so you can put it anywhere and leave it there.
Oh.
And it'll
That's
automatically sync.
Is that $5 a month too, like the Apple Watch?
Frankly, I'm kind of terrified to Google how much it costs. It's one of those things where they don't say on their website how much it costs. You have to call somebody to find out.
I would just get like the raw sensor and build it into the Raspberry Pi myself.
That seems a lot more reasonable than whatever nonsense this is going to cost. Anyhow, we are off topic. But there you go, Smart Fork. Check it out at a ramen shop near you. Okay, what else do we have in the rundown?
That's a very good question.
Good stuff. Here we go.
That
You know
was
what?
a hell of a story.
I want to try something. We've never done this before. You guys want to try something?
Yeah.
We got 4 viewers on Facebook right now, and that number's fluctuated.
Okay.
It's 4 at this moment. I'm going to put the rundown up on screen. If there's a story in the rundown our live viewers want us to talk
my
about,
God.
comment on Facebook, and we might
right.
talk about your story. We've got Twitter's fixes for abuse. We've got warehouses full of Snapchat spectacles. We've got a new flip phone.
Sean,
Xbox games.
you just spoiled our picks.
That's okay. That's
What?
That's because I know people really they die for the pick. Now that they know the picks, they're going to tune out. I know that's very real.
Right.
This is why Dan was
I
smart.
see.
He didn't put one in. He was thinking.
Yeah,
He
I was
knew
thinking
I was going to
ahead.
do it. He's a smart guy.
Man.
While we're waiting for our fans to decide, what do you guys think?
Well, there's a story that doesn't have an article. So
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I'm pretty intrigued because I couldn't read about it.
Well, now I have to go find it. Someone, probably me, accidentally
That-
deleted it.
that's-
So this story was about Google and Microsoft filling time. And the issue they're having in how they discover and share bugs between each other, which I was like, oh,
I see.
yeah, you guys know stuff about that.
Yeah.
Because you're in technology and whatnot. And so, God, I really can. Oh, here it is. Google. No, that's not it. Damn it! I swear to God, I'm gonna find this. I'm not giving up.
That's all right.
I'm not quitting.
Okay, you're not giving up. Do you need me to stall?
All right, I'm giving up. What else do you want to talk about?
All right. So speaking of picks, now that we spoiled our picks for the episode, except mine, I have some pick follow-up. We play a D&D podcast, Adventure Time. Wait, no.
Game nights.
Game nights.
Game nights. Sorry, I don't know.
Are you cheating
I was
on us with
crossing
another
Adventure
D&D
Zone
podcast?
with, like, I knew it had like a time frame. I was like, Adventure Time? No, it's a TV show. Anyways, I picked up on the show a long time ago. Go on YouTube, Google Acquisitions Incorporated, Patrick Rothfuss, and the PvP, not PvE, PvP comic people. I don't know. Do this absolutely hilarious, extremely high production value. They have sets. They have like whole dioramas of where their pieces are. They have things that fly around. They have like animated backdrops, incredible costumes, and it is so funny. I realized over the weekend that I have missed almost 5 hours of content from them. So I've been catching up. It's so funny, and it's giving me lots of ideas for our D&D podcast.
So many
Awesome.
ideas.
If it involves building dioramas, I'm like super in.
Yeah. So, quick anecdote: they brought on a new person. They have like guest stars, and one of the guest stars was like a warlock, and they're trying to figure something out. And he goes, "Well, I can cast this spell. If I roll a 15 or higher, I can ask a god 5 questions. If I roll lower than 15, I go insane."
Mm-hmm.
He rolled a 1.
Oh, critically insane.
And that was his first role on the podcast.
Critically insane.
Damn.
Critically insane. That would be a good name for a D&D podcast. Come to think of it.
I mean,
Speaking
we
of
could
critically
rename.
insane,
Yeah,
do
we
we have
actually.
info about this?
well, we have a Facebook comment.
Oh, a Facebook comment.
Yes, by Don't Panic superfan and recent tote bag owner Zachary Friss, who says he needs a new flip phone because his Google Pixel 2 XL has screen burn-in issues. Well, we might.
No.
Did you hear about that? The Google Pixel there?
No, I didn't.
No, the Google Pixel. They're having display issues.
Oh, I did
Apparently,
hear about
displays are
that.
terrible in those. Great phone, terrible displays.
No.
They're having issues. Well,
How do you have a cell phone that has display burn-in?
know.
Isn't the phone off most of the time, and when it's on, it's like things are happening? Or do I not understand how burn-in works?
What it's not even that. It's I don't understand it. They didn't, as far as I know, it's not like new screen technology. It's the same screens they put in all the phones. Like it's not like they did something crazy where they've never done it before. Like what could have happened to cause this? That's new or unusual. I don't know.
It was just like a bad batch of.
Possibly. I mean, I remember I had an iPhone. I forgot which one. I had an iPhone that had a similar. It had a bleed issue where light was bleeding through and it was screwing with the display, and they replaced it. So it happens with any new device. I don't think that's unusual. But what is unusual is this new phone from ZTE. We don't talk about them much on the show. Chinese manufacturer. But they unleashed this new phone, the Axon
Unleashed
M.
it?
Oh, they unleashed it.
Oh my god! I don't know that I've ever heard of anyone unleashing a phone. Is this like dropping an album?
They dropped the mic
Okay.
on this one, and it is a dual screen phone, and it's kind of like a flip phone. So imagine it reminds me like if you guys of course have seen like a Nintendo DS sort of, except imagine your phone has a screen on one side and then a screen on the other, and then it folds open so those two screens can be used at the same time.
Wait, the screen is on the outside of the phone when it's closed? I guess
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yes, and then they kind of
mean-
fold in.
The new iPhones have glass backs. Why not have a screen on both sides?
It's a no-brainer.
Whoa.
No, this thing is bananas, and I kind of love it. So some quick stats. It's an Android phone. The front screen is 5.2-inch 1080p panel, and the rear is a identical 5.2-inch display with a hinge between them. It's running Snapdragon 821, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and a 20 megapixel camera. It's got a bunch of fancy special software stuff that allow it to either mirror displays on both or to do things that share both displays, or of course just use one at a time depending on your purpose.
That is kind of cool, actually.
I think this is like super neat. Like the only thing is it's a little thick. It's a little chunky. It's a bit of a chunky phone because it's got two displays. If they could make this as wide as my iPhone, like in thickness, oh man,
right.
I would be all over this.
Whoa. What kind of things could you do with it? You could play like two-sided games. You could play like Battleship on a phone with another person.
But even like, I guess the problem is how thick the bezel is between the two displays. It seems relatively thin. But like even web browsing or watching a video, like sometimes if you're like quickly on the go, you don't need both. But I just think, or even like sometimes if like fantasy football, Twitter on one screen, my fantasy app on the other, like you could really get some cool multitasking stuff going. That's kind of difficult to do on a single display.
Like fantasy football.
Yes, exactly. On a fantasy phone that I fantasy own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's kind of neat.
So how do we acquire one of these?
Hypothetically, you should be
The
able
dual
to buy
screen
them.
challenge.
Hey, I just got a new phone. I'm
More
out of this
screens,
one.
more fun.
It will initially be selling it with AT&T in the U.S. and Docomo in Japan, and expected to be available before the end of the year. No price given as to what it'll cost you. So likely not cheap.
Whoa.
So
Cool.
that was neat. So Zach, there you go. He commented, "It's the buttons on the bottom that are potentially burning in. It's all LG's fault."
Oh, yeah. The on-screen, right.
Oh, because they're like software. They're soft
buttons.
Sure.
Weird. That's a shame.
That's a bummer.
That is never fun when it happens on your new phone. All right. What else do we have here, gentlemen? We got time for more news.
More news.
We're like one of those. Yes?
Is this the Snap Spectacles?
This is the Snap
Oh,
Spectacles.
I want to talk about that.
Well, Dan, I know you've been really wanting a pair. The good news is they're super available. Because apparently...
Now, available is different than cheap. How much are we talking? They discounting this stuff yet?
Not yet, but it wouldn't be surprising. The information is reporting that the company known as Snap expected demand for spectacles to continue after the holidays, where they actually sold a decent amount. They claim over 150,000 units, which isn't nothing. That's a pretty decent number. But after it opened sales to a wider audience, that didn't happen, and those units are reported to be sitting around in a warehouse unsold. Apparently, hundreds of thousands of units are sitting waiting to be sold, although that figure could include unassembled units with parts that could potentially be used in other products. Snapchat now has a 150-person hardware team reportedly working on everything from a drone to augmented reality glasses to did you guys see the Snapchat hot dog Halloween costume they're selling?
No.
Yeah, Snap.
Oh, yes,
Snap
I did.
It's an $80 Snapchat dancing hot dog costume that you can own.
Snapchat hot dog cost.
Yeah, there are a lot of not. Make sure you get the real deal. None of those knockoffs. Straight from the source.
Right.
So hundreds of thousands of unsold units of spectacles sitting in warehouses. Let me check. I believe it's available for sale on Amazon right now.
Really, Amazon?
Snap Spectacles. Boom. Sunglasses for Snapchat. $129. And you can get it in 2 days. Actually, probably right now if you've got Prime Now.
Now, Dan, my breaking point for an Echo Dot was a 50% off coupon in my email. What's your Snap Spectacles like?
Colby, because you're willing to take that one for the team, I would do the Snap Spectacles for 50% off just for science. Just for science.
Fair enough.
Because I have been getting I have been getting into Snapchat. It only took me like 4 years. So I don't know. Maybe they could be cool if you're going to like, Miami, some place where you're going to be seeing things that are cool, but not some place where you're going to break your sunglasses super easily. Because I can't imagine those are incredibly durable. You wouldn't want to go whitewater rafting with those sunglasses.
They're not waterproof?
I don't know. I doubt they're waterproof too.
Yeah, she's a really good question. I'm gonna look. These would have to be like $40 for me to buy them. But then I totally would. Then I'd be all over it. But yeah, not doing well for them. I don't know. I mean, I can't say I'm like super duper surprised that.
Remember they had the pop-up store right next to the Apple store in New York? Do you remember that? We covered that story.
Yeah, well,
I never did end up going. That would have been a cool thing to see in retrospect.
It's an artificial demand thing, Once you make it so you can just go out and buy them anywhere, there's no sort of fun left in it. There's no buzz. I forgot they even existed, frankly.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen one.
Me either.
Meanwhile,
I would be fascinated to try it. I can't see myself actually buying it.
I would try it. Meanwhile, I think we've covered on the show before how the Apple Watch has really taken off, at least in New York. Like, I see multiple Apple Watches in every subway car I'm in. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's unusual if there are none. Mm-hmm. The same is now true of AirPods. AirPods are even more or just as popular as the Apple Watch at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Absolutely. You know what I think would be, here we go, another free business idea. Someone should go to like Disneyland or like amusement parks or zoos or places where people go to spend memorable days and rent out spectacles. Like, I don't know how easy they are to set up initially and figure out how to use, but like that's totally something like, oh, for a day you can capture all this dope content with your sunglasses for like $20. Like, I would do that.
That could be cool.
But I don't know who needs to own them.
Dope content.
Dope. That needs to be our tagline. Don't panic. Dope content.
Coffee and Beer Network. Your place for dope content.
The dopest content on the internet.
It is content.
Okay. Let's see how we doing on time. Let's check the clock. All right, we got time for one more story, guys. No, we're not getting off that easy.
One more. Are we going to talk about Microsoft and Google's bug beef?
I still have not managed to track down that
never mind.
article.
I didn't say that. Edit that out.
No. Dan, I literally, again, this is episode 180. I don't think I've ever edited anything out of any of these episodes.
Oh, no.
So what happens, we're direct to tape. Here we go. I found the story. Do you want to talk about the bug beef?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been talking about it so much already. We're committed.
It's the long con, and we're ready to pull the trigger. So Microsoft and Google have been going at it for quite a while over how they handle bugs. A while back, Google disclosed a major Windows bug before Microsoft was ready to patch it last year. And that really irritated Microsoft so much that Windows chief Terry Myerson authored a blog post at the time criticizing Google for not disclosing the vulnerabilities responsibly, aka to Microsoft, so they could fix it before publishing it. However, recently, Microsoft discovered a remote Chrome vulnerability last month and is demonstrating what they feel is responsible disclosure in a blog post from Microsoft. Their security team outlined the remote code execution issue in Chrome and criticized Google's approach to patching it, because what happened was Microsoft warned Google and said, hey, there's this vulnerability in Chrome, you need to fix it. Google pushed a fix within a week to its beta versions of Chrome, but the stable and public channels remained vulnerable for nearly a month. And Microsoft took the time to criticize Google for doing this, especially because Google makes their source code available online on GitHub ahead of the stable channel, which meant attackers had a month to discover the flaw in the publicly available code.
That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know how much there is to say. I've been involved in things like this, but not to the, like, I've only been involved with private companies' code bases where as long as someone tells us that there's a problem, like, they don't really know when we fixed it, and certainly no one knows when we fix it that isn't the person who already knows what it is. If that makes sense. So I don't have much insight. I think it seems like a mistake that Google would, put that in the beta channel, because other things, like we talked about crack last week, those things were fixed right away, and with like major fanfare, like, hey, we just released this fix everywhere, better go patch your stuff. But I'd be curious, do you know how severe this issue was?
The article didn't really say, and I'm not technical enough to really put the pieces together. It obviously wasn't like crack level dangerous.
That's right. Few things are.
Yeah, so not great, but yeah.
Hashtag bug beef.
Hashtag bug beef. Yeah, they're not happy about what's going on there. For sure. Okay.
Did you ever watch Snowpiercer?
No.
Yes.
I don't know. I said bug beef, and I was thinking about like other things bug beef can mean. Just made me think of that. No reason. No particular reason if you haven't seen it.
Okay.
Did you like it, Colby?
I thought it was weird. I was glad I watched it.
Yeah.
It was wacky. Now I've also watched Human Centipede.
Oh, whoa.
Similarly, like
no. Those
glad
are not in any way similar.
No, they're not. They could be weird. Well, no, not really. They're both things. They're both like films that people say people talk about.
They're both films that people talk about.
He's not wrong. We're doing it right now.
It's true. It's true.
I'm just saying, Snowpiercer is a much easier movie to watch, from what I understand.
Yeah,
than
sorry,
Human
that was
Centipede.
no, that was not. I didn't mean to like equivocate the two. What does equivocate mean? Does that mean what I just said?
You're like hemming and hawing, right?
Was I hemming and hawing?
No, I think you're equating them.
Yes, equating. That's what I meant. Thank you. I knew there was a word.
And that was vocabulary lessons with Don't Panic.
That's right. Don't say we didn't teach you anything. Because we did. All right. Well, I think we're out of time for news, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
Because we're going to move on to picks, spoiled and non-spoiled alike. And we've got some good stuff for you folks to watch. I'm going to jump in and go first. I don't always go first.
Yeah,
but
why don't you go ahead and do that?
I'm first on the list, so I have decided. So I got something fun. Have you guys seen Monster Factory before, or am I introducing this new to you?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen like a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan knows it. So it's a YouTube series by we're pretty big fans of the McElroy brothers. We listen to many of their shows. And this is actually from them. This is Justin and Griffin, and essentially it's a YouTube series by Polygon, and essentially the theory of it is two parts. One, when you play a video game, and I know we did this in college, and they have the character creator part of the game where you can morph the bodies and shape them. First of all, they screw with that pretty great. And then in many of the episodes, they then actually hack into the game and screw with the game code and just break games in ways that are fascinating and insane. And I swear to God, I don't think I've ever laughed harder than I have at some of these where they just go balls crazy. And they're very funny guys, just in general. But as they're doing this, I highly recommend you can just look up Monster Factory on YouTube. If you're looking for a good place to start, because there are like 50 of them, watch the Fallout 4 3-part series where they literally go into the code and they break it so amazingly. I won't spoil it, but an absolute must-watch. And it's an enjoyable program. So check it out, Monster Factory on YouTube. Good times for all. Colby, you've got something else funny for us to watch. What you got here?
Indeed, I've been in a TV phase lately. My pick is that show Big Mouth on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. It's an animated series. It is certainly for adults, but it's about like preteens going through puberty, but it's ridiculous. And there are lots of funny people in it. It's like Nick Kroll and like John Mulaney and Jenny Slate and Fred Armisen and Maya Rudolph and other funny people who you've heard of. It's quite silly. So if you're in the mood for some like raunchy animated laughing, check it out.
Animated laughing.
Yeah.
It's my favorite kind of
Animation
laughing.
induced laughing.
I see.
It's not just people laughing. Yeah. That's my pick.
Funny drawings. Check them out now on Netflix. Big Mouth. Very good. Dan, you've got. Oh man, you just got a Ken Burns fix that you just cannot.
I do.
It's a problem.
I do. Listen, the last time I picked was Flushed. I could pick. Actually, you know what? Yeah.
No, pick the Roosevelts. The Roosevelts is great. Don't let me judge you.
No. But I'm changing it to a different Ken Burns documentary.
Okay.
Because I'm still in the middle of this one.
Could be bad.
After I watched Prohibition, that was sort of my intro Ken Burns documentary. I went a little bit deeper and I watched The War, and I think I mentioned this on like a show or two ago. And that one's like, I don't know, 14 hours long. But it is really good, and it takes like a different tact than like most World War II documentaries. Like, oh, well, first thing was that maybe they go a little bit of the preamble. Here's what happened in Germany. Here's what happened in Italy. Here's like the bombing of Britain, and then Pearl Harbor happened. But this one takes a much different approach, where it's like, let's take 6 towns in America and show the war from their perspective, pictures from those towns, interviewing people from those towns who were in the war or who weren't, and just like saw it happen. So it's a much more interesting and diverse take than a lot of the higher level traditional World War II documentaries go. So you end up learning more about some of the weirder things. Like, they don't really talk about the Battle of Midway. They don't really talk about Pearl Harbor, but you'll learn about these specific battles that these people were a part of, and they're no less horrifying than those other ones. So it was really good. I'm now 100% convert, and I'm starting the Roosevelts next, so I will report back.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Man, Teddy Roosevelt, whew, what a fascinating person, but not what I thought I knew about Teddy Roosevelt. I knew him as like the firebrand, but he's much more interesting than just that.
Well, it's great. It does such a good job of transitioning from Teddy into Theodore. Teddy into Franklin Delano, and the whole family interchange between them, and Franklin growing up in the shadow of Teddy.
Right from the beginning, so it's actually 2 people at the same time.
It's great. It's really well done. Yeah, man, Ken Burns, dude's got it going on.
Yep.
Super cool. Well, we'll have the links to those and all our picks, as always, on our website at don'tpanic.io. Guys, we have a couple extra minutes. We ended a little bit early, so I want to ask you, this is a good opportunity to plug/get your opinion, because this week on an all-new episode of Up for Debate, we are taping on Wednesday. We are doing, in honor of Halloween, a Sweet 16 bracket of the best fears. And we're going to put them head-to-head and determine the best.
Can you give me some sample fears?
Sure. We don't have a final list yet, but it may include things like fear of flying, fear of snakes, fear of falling, agoraphobia, fear of being outside. There's a whole long list. So I was going to ask you guys, what are some good fears that we could include? You don't have to pick the best one, but we got to come up with 16 to fill out the bracket. What are some go-to fears?
Here's this, Sean. How about instead of 16, we talk about the number 13? specifically triskaidekaphobia, the fear of the number 13.
I like that one. That's I
I'll
had
put it
not
in the
heard
Slack
that.
for you. It's my favorite fear.
That's really good. Just delightful.
I like that. All right, duly noted.
It is also a reason for the fear of Friday the 13th, which has its own name. Frigga triskaidekaphobia, after Frigg, the Norse goddess after whom Friday is named in English.
Wow.
So they-
Someone
Yeah.
really put a lot of thought into that one.
Yeah, it turns out Latin, you can string a lot of things together, and
Very cool. Let's see. Any others? Any others in your mind?
I feel like I'm just thinking of the normal ones.
Well, that's fine. Normal ones are
yeah.
good too.
What are some normal fears you got?
Yeah,
like
tell us your
snakes,
fears, Colby.
spiders, heights.
Heights?
It's a good one.
Is there like what else is scary?
I know.
What's
there-
not scary?
I
Is
know
there
there-
like a fear of children or something?
Oh, that's good. Fear
Could
of
be
clowns
cool.
is a classic.
Right.
I know that there's one where
Right.
you're afraid of light,
Ooh.
which is odd.
That's like what vampires have?
I don't know if it's. I mean, I guess they also have the fear. I feel it's a little more physiological than that, but I would assume the fear goes with it.
Their fear is grounded in reality. Yeah, I don't have any other ideas.
Well, these are good. You've really got me thinking. I've looked up, Googled a few here. There's a fear of holes.
Ooh, what is that called?
See, now I have to pronounce these Latin-sounding words on the fly. Trypophobia.
Huh.
Oh my God,
What
there's a
sort of-
fear of chins,
Ooh.
which is geniophobia.
Jeez.
This is fun.
It's not a fear of Ginny Weasley from Harry Potter?
Yeah, one and the same, really. She did have a chin.
Yeah.
There's
Can't be trusted.
the famous fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth, which is arachabutyrophobia.
Ooh.
There's a fear of hair. Chatophobia. So these and many more
Wow.
will be on this week's episode of Don't Panic.
Here, I've got a fear of the number 13 anecdote for you. Recent one. Vehicle registration plates in the Republic of Ireland are such that the first two digits represent the year of the registration of the vehicle. 11 is a 2011 car, 12, 2012, and so on. In 2012, there were concerns among members of the Society of Irish Motor Industries that the prospect of having 13 registered vehicles might discourage motorists from buying new cars because of superstition surrounding the number 13, and that car sales and the motor industry, which was already ailing, would suffer as a result. The government, in consultation with the SIMI, introduced a system whereby 2013 registered vehicles would have their registration plates age identifier string modified to read 131 for vehicles registered in the first 6 months of 2013 and 132 for those registered in the latter 6 months of the year. The system continued after, with 2014 being labeled 141 and so on.
Wow, that they overthought that a little bit, I think. A little bit, solving a problem that wasn't there, but still neat.
Yeah,
Still
interesting.
neat.
So I look forward to
Yeah.
up for debate this year.
This
this
year.
week.
Well, both really. We have lots of lots of great
This
episodes. The rest of the year.
season has been particularly good.
And I'll even tease after that episode, so not this week, but next week, we'll be publishing our 2017 winter movie draft, which was a ton of fun. We had the introduction of the Draftotron 9000, which Dan so kindly got up and running, which made it a lot. We had teams for the first time, 5 teams of 2, and it was an exciting evening. We had a ton of fun, so that's a must listen and watch episode coming up. So you can get that all at upfordebate.tv. But of course, this show, don'tpanic.io. I won't give you all the links. You know where to find us. Overcast, YouTube, the whole 9 yards, at Don't Panic Show on Twitter. But of course, don'tpanic.io is your central site. We're going to wrap it up here, but we're going to be back next week with more tech news and interesting stories about Irish superstitions right here on Don't Panic. On behalf of Dan and Colby, this is Sean. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time for more Don't Panic.